You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Radio Show, only on Financial News and Talk. Now live in studio, your host, local and national real estate expert and consumer advocate, Ron Siegel.
And hello again. Welcome to Ron Siegel Radio. This is the show with no real boundaries as we discuss current events, financial markets, politics, sports, even poking fun at the rest of the media. This is the show that connects the dots of confusion, delivered by conflicting media reports. We connect the dots so you know the actions you can take, how your family or business can benefit from current events. Most of all, thank you for joining me. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day. We have a very focused show. We only chat about items that affect the roof over your head, your bank account, and anything I feel would benefit you. But before we get into our intriguing content today, please join me in welcoming our featured guest. And now we play the intro music for him because he's earned it.
Welcome back.
Welcome back, Frank Garcia, Insurance KO. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Great to be here.
Glad to have you with us. And let me remind you, if you ever have any home or finance related questions, I am the consumer advocate looking out for you. And you can reach out to me directly, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Just remember, that's the number you call anytime for assistance. When you call that number, it comes directly to me first. There are operators standing by.
Quiet, numbskulls. I'm broadcasting.
While I do have a good team when it comes to developing a financing plan, a plan to save you money, I personally work with you. Even if you don't have any needs today, save this number in your phone for future reference, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. And yes, we're celebrating today. We celebrate every day on Ron Siegel Radio. And what better way to celebrate than food? Today's National Food Day. Any kind of food. I start early in the morning with food. The last thing I do before I go to bed is I eat food. Obviously, because that's the size I am. You know, and I come to, some people, I'll go out to dinner with someone and they'll say, what do you like to eat? And I said, if you looked at me lately, it would be a lot easier. The list would be much shorter if I said what I don't like to eat, because there's not a whole heck of a lot on there. National Food Day. I don't know why they only give that one day. Josh, can we do that every week? I mean, can't we put the National Food Day every week? National Bologna Day. I've been told I've been full of bologna many, many times. There's other things I've been told I'm full of, but bologna sandwich. Now, see, now Josh did this right, because he's got the bologna right there on the screen. I'm looking at this National Day calendar. And they put a bologna sandwich on there. They put bologna with, looks like American cheese, on one of those fake rolls, those little tiny things that have no flavor and no calories or whatever they are. What are those things for? Are those just they're a tease? I don't know. It's let's go back to National Food Day. You know, and I look again. Josh does it right. National Day calendar. They've got this. You know, all this food on there that's healthy. I see radishes and peppers and legumes and vegetables. Josh gives us hot dogs, pizza. Looks like we've got a bisque on there. None of that weeds and stuff. Let's move right along. Otherwise, because I could talk about food all day long and you probably don't want to hear it. Frank, are you a foodie?
Oh, yes. I love food.
Favorite restaurant?
Oh, favorite restaurant? Well, it's out of business. I was Taps in Brea. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. That was fabulous, that place.
Yeah, that was a good restaurant.
Yeah.
You know, the problem is I get all kinds of guests come on, and we talk about food, and we talk about restaurants. I seem to know most of them. And is that a problem there? Although my favorite, and I don't know how much longer it's going to be around, but my favorite, Sabatino's in the Lido Shipyard. And I understand Peter's not doing well. So, have you ever been to Sabatino's in the shipyard?
Yes. Yeah.
Great sausage.
Oh, yeah.
And if you like egg, I know it sounds odd for the guy that just said, don't give me the vegetables. They make the best eggplant parmesan anywhere. But I digress. Let's see what the markets are doing today. The Dow Jones Industrial Average is up 191 points. The S&P is up 24. The NASDAQ is up 91. Oil down $2.30 a barrel. And the 10-year Treasury fairly flat, 4.849 right now. There's a lot going on there as well. We saw massive changes and volatility in the 10-year Treasury yesterday. $2.31, though, down on oil. If the president was awake, he might be filling up the stockpiles. I don't know if he is or not. So did he come back from the beach over the weekend? I mean, the world's on fire, and he went to the beach. I'm not the president. I went to the beach, but, that's a whole different story. I'm not the leader of the free world. But, hey, I do the same things, right? We go to the beach, we sleep, I haven't fallen up a flight of stairs, though. How do you fall up a flight of stairs? But let's take a look at gas prices. $3.45.5 is the national average of a gallon of gasoline. Right here in California, $5.42. Arizona, $4.16. Josh, you're at $4.68. Okay, not bad. And our tremendous underwriter, Lori, $3.08 a gallon in Louisiana. Don't I wish we were somewhere closer to $3.08 a gallon, but we like taxes in California. I know we like taxes because we vote for the people that put more and more taxes on us. Again, current price, gallon of gasoline, $541.6. Last week, $558.9. And a year ago, $575. A month ago, $581. So these are coming down a little bit. Maybe that change in prices will help. Moving right along. I heard an interesting story yesterday, and I've been watching the economy all the time for you. And we talk about that because it affects interest rates. And one of the issues that we've seen in the economy is that government jobs are going up. And there's a lot of battles if you listen to conservatives and liberals about, should we supply Ukraine? Should we be giving weapons to Israel? How much money we're spending. And I heard an interview over the weekend, and I didn't get a chance to share it yesterday, but I figured I would share this with you today. Think about this concept. Now, we've spent, $100 billion or $200 billion sending weapons to Ukraine. They're looking for another $100 billion. Where do those weapons come from? They come from our stockpiles. Now, when do you think that we're sending them? Newsflash, I should not say this on the radio, but I will. Do you think we're sending our best stuff to Ukraine? No. What we're doing is we're sending the old stuff to Ukraine. What does that mean? Well, the latest and greatest is being produced right now, and we're doing that and getting rid of the old stuff. Ukraine gets that, and we're still putting people to work. We're spending a lot of money, keeping our economy going. Unfortunately, war is good for the economy. It's a shame that we say that, but it is what it is. So we're sending all this stuff to Ukraine, but that's cleaning up our shelves so we have room for the new, later, and greater product. Just saying what it is. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, the perks of selling your house when inventory is low. 5 proven strategies to manage holiday spending and tackle debt. All that and more. Reach me anytime. Our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Are you like many of your neighbors trying to figure out how to pay off your debts so you can retire someday? Build bigger savings. Invest in opportunities. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Debt will destroy 50% of Americans from being able to retire earlier and with more. What if you'd have a guaranteed program that could show you how to eliminate all of your debt in 10 years or less, all without having to spend more each month than you spend right now? Yes, that's correct. All without spending more from your checkbook each month than you are today. Get your free analysis today to see if you qualify. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Log on today for your free analysis, rsrnodebt.com. No purchase necessary. The free analysis takes only 2 minutes. rsrnodebt.com. Ron Siegel Radio is your home and mortgage connection. Go to rsrnodebt.com. rsrnodebt.com.
Are you paying rent because you cannot afford to live in your dream home? Are you paying rent because you don't believe you have the down payment funds to purchase your own home? At Siegel Lending Team at ronismylender.com has up to $25,000 to help qualified people purchase their own home at amazing interest rates. Contact the Siegel Lending Team today at ronismylender.com. Again, ronismylender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037. ronismylender.com.
Homeowners over the age of 62 are taking back financial control after retirement with reverse mortgages, and the Siegel Lending Team is here to help you use it to your advantage. Call Ron Siegel with Geneva Financial to receive your free information booklet with no obligation. The booklet answers all your questions, and the best part is you still own your home. Call Ron Siegel at 1-800-306-1990 or visit ronsiegelradio.com.
Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Do you know a homeowner experiencing divorce? Do you know a real estate reference and the divorce decree could cost tens of thousands of dollars? A certified divorce mortgage planning and real estate report could save you thousands of dollars, and it's free from your local certified divorce lending professional. Reach out to Ron today. ronismylender.com. Again, ronismylender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The Mortgage Minute today being brought to you by our friends at Geneva Financial. When you're ready for that next home loan, Geneva's got the programs and the products. You just need to make the call, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. And every day at this time, OBMMI. They provide the most comprehensive, accurate, timely, and interactive analysis of pricing ever conducted in the mortgage industry, calculated from actual rates. Easy for me to say. Calculated from actual rates. And they don't tell us the APR, points paid or points received. They just tell us the rates across 42% of all mortgage transactions nationwide. 30-year conforming, 7.779. That was pretty flat. 30-year jumbo, 8.021. 30-year FHA, 7.436. 30-year USDA, that's for the rural areas, generally no down payment, 7.596. That was up a bit. And the best loan on the market for those that earned it, the 30-year VA loan, 7.417. That one was down a bit. And let's take I should say, hey, if you want every morning as early as we can, business morning as early as we can, we do send out our commentary on the mortgage market. You go to rsrmarketminute.com, rsrmarketminute.com, and subscribe. We'll get that off to you as early as we can every morning. Let's see what's happening today since the markets have opened. The S&P 500 is up 18.66. 10-year Treasury, pretty flat, 4.846. And the mortgage bonds, those are pretty flat as well. They've done nothing today. What's driving all of this? That's why you tune into Ron Siegel Radio. Well, it's pretty simple. Words have consequences. We've been telling you there's been a large short interest in the 10-year Treasury. What the heck does that mean? There's been a lot of the big money has been putting their bet, so to speak, on the fact that the bond price itself will go down, which means interest rate or the yield will go up. Well, one of the big wigs yesterday, Bill Ackman, said that he's covering that position. He's saying, quote, the economy is slowing faster than the data suggests, unquote. Where might you have heard that before?
Surprise, surprise, surprise.
So he's unwinding his position is what he's doing, which means he's buying the bond. When there's more buyers of the bond price goes up, the interest rate or yield goes down. Additionally, Bill Gross, he was the founder of PIMCO, said higher for longer is yesterday's mantra. That's a quote from him. He mentioned how regional bank carnage and the recent rise in auto delinquencies to long-term historical highs indicate the U.S. economy is slowing significantly. He's calling for a recession in the fourth quarter. We're there now. Interesting. Bank of America CEO Brian Moynihan said, frankly, the Fed has won the battle of the American consumer. They are slowing down, and the question is, what happens next? All of these comments point to a slowdown in the economy and a potential recession, which would help the bond market and mortgage rates. As a result, they are positioning their investments for a drop in yields. Realtor.com rental index, median asking rents fell 0.3 in September and are down 0.7% year over year. An influx of new multifamily units on the market drove prices down in September. The annual completion rate of multifamily buildings with 5 or more units increased 10.1% month over month and 15% year over year. This is in line with apartment lists showing that new rents are down 1.2% year over year. Remember, both of these reports track new rents, and renewals are higher. The blended rental index reported by CoreLogic is showing that rents are up 2.9%, but that's much lower than what it's being represented in the CPI inflation reports at 7.2%. It drives me mad. Catching up the shelter costs for the long lag, and CPI is really closer to 2.2%. Danielle Hale, chief economist for Realtor.com, said it's more economical to rent than to buy in nearly all major markets. Do we have to go through this again? Because all she does is look at cash on cash. She doesn't look at appreciation, depreciation, the wealth effect, none of that. Amortization, you want to know which was true? We've got a buy versus rent analysis that we can do for you. That's the Mortgage the Minute, brought to you by our friends at Geneva Financial. When you're ready for that next home loan, Geneva's got the programs and the products. You just need to make the call, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Let's chat. It's about your life. Frank Garcia is with us this morning. He's from Insurance KO. And contrary to popular belief, I will share this with you. Contrary to and I did have a real estate or an insurance license many, many moons ago. It's about 25 years, 20 years, something like that. I had an insurance license. I no longer have an insurance license. They don't take the education away from you. So, contrary to popular belief, there are things in this world that are expenses, and there are things in this world that are investments. If you listen or read Robert Kiyosaki's work, he says the house you live in is an expense because money goes out, it doesn't come back in. Now, at some point in time, you might sell it or your heirs might sell it, so it might become, it's still an asset, but it's an expense. Rental property, that should be an investment. Got to help a lot of the politicians. They have a problem because anytime they spend money, they call it an investment. If there's a return on invest and a return, then it can be an investment. If gas prices go up, that's an expense. So one of the things I want to chat, Frank Garcia is with us. Insurance, many types, almost every insurance that's out there, you're banking on the fact that I don't want my money back, right? You're trading your risk for your money. Well, in life insurance, maybe there's ways to get your money back and use it as an investment and not a sunk expense. And that's what we're going to talk to Frank about today. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
So insurance, I mean, I got my first life insurance policy probably right when I found out that my wife was pregnant with my first son.
Okay. Yeah.
And all my friends were buying term policy then.
Okay.
And I bought universal.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, this is going to last me my whole lifetime.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I can cash it in when I want to.
Right.
I was growing cash value.
Yes.
Does it help me from running out of money?
Yeah, it will, it's like a hidden bank account. You're paying it. It sounds like to you, it feels like it's a bill every month, but part of that bill that you're paying is building cash and growing tax deferred, and you're able to get all your money back all the way up to the cost basis, which is what you put into it at some point when you decide to take it out on a loan or cash the policy out. So it's kind of like a forced savings with the risk protection, protecting your life, for your livelihood.
So how would one use that now? So, I'm old, fat, and bald. I don't know if I think they call those, what's the term that they use in insurance?
Uninsurable.
There you go.
Yeah.
Or I think they call it when you're young, fat, and bald, they call it rated or something.
Rated. Yeah. Highly rated.
Highly rated.
There you go.
And now all we want is to have our radio program highly rated, right? You don't want your insurance policy highly rated.
Very true. That's true.
So, but let's just say somebody, I got 3 boys in their early 30s.
Yes.
Is insurance an investment for them or an expense?
Oh, definitely. Well, you got to look at each situation separately, and definitely you got to look at the risk exposure. A nice feature that a lot of people are doing now is young people are buying a 30-year guaranteed term life insurance policy. The premium's guaranteed for 30 years, and the face amount of the policy is guaranteed for 30 years. So they buy a large portion of that, and then they take and buy a smaller portion in permanent life insurance, like you talked about, universal life or index life. And they buy that, and they keep paying that. So later on in life, when that term insurance disappears and they're still living, they have this guaranteed policy that has cash value in it for future death benefit, for future retirement benefit, for future college education benefit. It's there and it's usable. So that's a nice, attractive way to do it.
Now I've talked about using insurance for a lot of different things for a lot of years.
Yes.
And some of them, FINRA didn't like it when I talked about this 25 years ago at Merrill Lynch, but I don't have that license anymore, so I can talk about it.
Yes.
So I used to say, take the money, take some of that equity out of your real estate and put that equity to work in a insurance policy.
Right.
Now, back then, and I don't know if the rules have changed, you had to make sure you spoke to a educated insurance provider like yourself, because you didn't want to get involved in what they called a MEC.
Yeah. Modified endowment contract.
Is that still the case?
That's still the case.
So you got to make sure that if you're taking a large sum of money, you don't just invest it the wrong way.
Well, investing it the wrong way is maybe not the way to put it. Putting too much money in the policy, because the IRS figured out that you are allowing the money to grow in their tax deferred up to the cost base you can take it out. So back when, before they developed the MEC, that meant people were just cramming money into policies and not looking at the tax issue. Well, now the IRS has the MEC, modified endowment contract, in place, and you can only put to a certain limit, up into a 7-year pay limit. And that's, that can be calculated, but you can go right up to the borderline and grow these contracts, significant value and cash value as they grow year after year after year by, the maximum MEC funding of the contract. Yeah.
So when we come back, I want to chat with you more about the MEC, how to navigate so you don't get involved in that. And the insurance policy versus the 401k or the Roth IRA. Now, and we don't give financial advice. Frank does his insurance and his licensing. He can give that stuff. I don't have those licenses anymore.
Yeah.
But I know some of the questions. You can reach me anytime. Our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the number 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Hey there, friends. Wondering if now is the right time to buy a home? Or are you waiting for a bunch of foreclosures? The facts speak loud and clear. Defaults and foreclosures are down. Sure, we might be headed towards a recession. But did you know interest rates typically drop and real estate values often go up during a recession? So what are you waiting for? Higher prices or higher payments? Don't navigate these waters alone. Connect with RonSiegelRadio.com today. That's RonSiegelRadio.com.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The real-time real estate segment today being brought to you by rsrmoney.com, rsrmoney.com. Perks of selling your house when inventory is low. Let's take a look at it. When it comes to selling your house, you're probably trying to juggle the current market conditions and your own needs as you plan your move. One thing that may be working in your favor is how few homes there are for sale right now. Here's what you need to know about the current inventory situation and what it means for you. Supply of homes for sale is far below the norm. When you're selling something, it helps if what you're selling is in demand but is also in low supply. Why? That makes it even more desirable since there's not enough to go around. That's exactly what's happening in the housing market today. There are more buyers looking to buy than there are homes for sale. To tell the story of just how low inventory is, here's the latest information on active listings or homes available for sale. The graph that we're going to show you is from Realtor.com. And remember, we send these out anytime you want them. rsrlistana.com will get you to the baseline. You can put in whatever address you want there. But the graph shows from Realtor.com to show how many active listings there were in September of this year compared to what's more typical in the market. And the graph is the supply of homes for sale is still low. As you can see in the graph, if you look at the last normal years of the market, shown in the blue bars, versus the latest number for this year, that's the red bar if you're watching us on RonSiegelRadio.tv, any of our socials, or the ABC News and Talk AM 1490 video feed, it's clear inventory is still far lower than the norm, way down. What that means for you, buyers have fewer choices now than they did in more typical years, and that's why you could still see some great perks if you sell today, because there are not enough homes to go around. Homes that are priced right are still selling fast, and the average seller is getting multiple offers from eager buyers. Based on the latest data from the Confidence Index from the National Association of Realtors, NAR, 69% of homes sold in less than a month. 2.6 offers, the average number of offers on recently sold homes. An article from Realtor.com explains how the limited number of houses for sale benefits if you are selling. Quote, homes spent 2 weeks less on the market this past month than they did in this average September from 2017 to 2019, as still limited supply spurs home buyers to act quickly. Bottom line, because the supply of homes for sale is so low, buyers desperately want more options. And your house may be just what they're looking for. Give me a call at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990 if you want to chat about some of these issues, how it affects you, how it affects your family, because you know something, doesn't really matter what it is on a national level. That's what I just talked about. When you go to that listana.com, RSR, listana.com, you're actually going to be able to find out what your zip code is, what the availability is in your zip code. So go check that out. Again, rsrlistana.com. That's the real-time real estate segment brought to you by RSR Money. Continuing our conversation, We're speaking this morning. Frank Garcia is with us. Insurance KO is the name of the company. I promise, or at least I'm hoping that Frank's not going to knock me out, KO me here in the studio. So
Not today.
Not today. I guess so I guess I've been nice enough to him today. So I'm still okay today.
There you go.
Okay, so before the break, and if you missed what we were talking about before the break, shame on you. You should have been listening. But I'm going to go over it. I'm not going to go over all of it. I'm just going to give you a little bit of the information that we were talking about, because I do want you to know some of these things. I want you to understand we were talking about investing and making sure that you're not getting yourself involved in a MEC, a modified endowment contract. And there's ways that Frank understands how to put the amount of money you want. So, and I'm just going to throw a number out there. It doesn't necessarily mean anything other than it's a number for us to talk about. So, Frank, I got $1 million. I want to put it into an insurance policy. I want to set it all in there today.
Okay.
That's going to hit me with the MEC rules, right?
Yeah, you're going to have to look at the MEC rules, and you do what they call as a single premium life, and you run the illustrations first, and the illustration is going to say how much does the face amount of the policy have to be to absorb $1 million and to guarantee it out to what age, say 100. And then what would the assumption or the current interest rate or current index return be on that? And some of the contracts today, I mean, we just did an annuity recently. The cap on the index was 11% for a 7-year period. Get serious. I mean, that's fabulous.
That is.
Right.
So I want to go back to something you just said there, Frank, because this is a big issue.
Yeah.
When you're listening to some of the so-called experts on TV, and there's one of them that I'm not going to mention his name, Mr. Fisher, but they talk about the idea that they would never put somebody into an annuity. To me, that seems like it's pretty stupid, because those products were out there and they were created.
Right.
And maybe they're not right. The way I look at it, you tell me if I'm wrong, Frank, no product is right for everybody, but there is every product's right for somebody, for the right situation.
Correct. And, to tie it together, what I mentioned just a minute ago on the index being, the cap being 11% for a 7-year period, that was for that type of product. And basically, the same thing can be input into a life insurance contract to do the same thing. In other words, it can earn up to 11%, and anything in excess of that, of course, the company keeps it, but you can get 11% all the way up. And the floor is 0, so you don't lose anything. But the real nice feature about
you got to go back on that, Frank, because that's a lot of people gloss over that. If you got a
being
floor,
0%,
right, so you can't lose.
So you're not going to lose. So you put $1 million in there, right, and you put it into an index product with the floor being 0, you're not going to lose any money, but you're going to have all the upside as far as it can grow.
And that's a big issue. So
yeah. And it's tax deferred.
I'm going to let you do a little math here, not on air. We're not going to do it here, but you do it on your own. If you say you've got $1,000 invested, the market drops, say 20%, which is not outrageous. How much does it take the market to go back up to get back to your $1,000? It's not 20%. Right. So when Frank says to you that you're protected on the downside,
right?
Who cares if you're limited at 11% on the upside? That means your money's doubling. What is that, every 6.5 years?
Exactly.
Right? That's a big, big benefit. Now, talk a little bit, Frank, because I'm a big believer in this, but I'm not licensed and you are. I like using insurance more than a 401k or a Roth IRA.
Well, that's true. And that goes back to what I drew up the example of in your early years buying 30-year term, say for the mortgage amount, and then buying a permanent form of insurance, say $300,000 or $500,000, and building equity in it. So now what you've done with that in later years, if you continue it and continue to put money into it, is maybe even every 5 years, you increase the contributions by $50 or $100 towards that policy. Now what you've done towards retirement years is you've built another leg on your stool, right? For security and for retirement benefit, because it has a huge amount of cash value in it. That can be a huge benefit. Now, if you compare that to a 401k, traditional 401k, basically what you're doing is you're putting money into it, pre-tax, deducting it from your income tax. But when you take the money out, it's taxable. So there you are. You're being taxed on that money. Where if it was in the life insurance policy, you wouldn't be taxed on the cost basis. Now, also the other issues regards to a Roth, it's another smart idea in having a 401k that maybe you're putting 50% towards the Roth 401k and 50% towards the traditional 401k. So half is growing tax deferred, tax free when you take it out on the Roth, and the other one is taxable. So you have a combination of taxable income and non-taxable income, another leg on the stool for the benefit in the future to have money.
So all of these
available.
things that Frank's talking about, and we talk about on Ron Siegel Radio all the time, it's all about planning, right? You have to get professional guidance. And I'm going to share with you plain old. You can do everything we just said online. You might even be able to do it right. The question is, are you willing to take that risk, right? Because all of these things are available. But I'm blessed in the fact that I get to talk to people like Frank on a regular basis, right? So I'm able to learn about these things. Where else would you go to learn about them other than to Ron Siegel Radio and our guests? But the bottom line is you can go online and do all these things, and you may end up doing them wrong, and it may cost you money, and it may be too late to find out about those things. And if it is costing you money, that's the reason why you want professional guidance. When there's a reason that the wealthiest people in this country choose to use the highest expense investment advisors. Why? Because they get a great return on investment. If you want to go to a hedge fund, in most instances, not all of them, but most instances, you have to have $5 million of assets to go to a hedge fund. And they're going to charge you 20% of the profit and 3% as an administrative fee every year. A lot of people say, well, I'm not going to pay that much. I'm going to go to Charles Schwab and I'm going to pay whatever. Well, you can. Why do the wealthy people do the exact opposite? Because they don't care about the cost. They care about the return. And that's what Frank is sharing. We need to hear about 11%.
11%
cap.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Now, one of the things when we come back that I want to chat about is I want to chat about aging America. And everybody, if you're lucky, you're going to get there. Now, there's some people that took the freeway this morning that are not going to get there. It's just the way it is. We never know. But there's no reservations. But what I'm going to talk about is planning for your golden years or your last years. We're going to talk with Frank Garcia about that when we come back. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. We're going to also talk about 5 proven strategies to manage holiday spending and tackle debt. All that and more. Reach me anytime. Off air number 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube, Ron Siegel, the number 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio, your home and mortgage connection.
79% of all credit reports have errors that should be corrected through factual disputing. You could be saving thousands every year if your report was accurate. CreditSanitizer.com provides a free credit report audit when you furnish a specific $1 credit report. You can use this information to request corrections to your report and potentially save thousands of dollars. Get your free credit audit at CreditSanitizer.com. That's CreditSanitizer.com for a free credit report audit. CreditSanitizer.com.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio. Anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Your Credit Matters segment today being brought to you by CreditSanitizer.com. You have a credit report and it's wrong. What are you doing about it? 5 proven strategies to manage holiday spending and tackle debt. The holiday season is a time of joy and celebration, but it can also be a period of financial stress with gift-giving parties and decorations. Expenses can quickly add up. In this discussion, we're going to explore 5 actionable tips to help you navigate the holiday season without breaking the bank or accumulating debt. Number 1, craft a detailed spending plan. Why that's important? A spending plan serves as your financial roadmap, helping you allocate funds for gifts, travel, and festivities. To do it, assess your current financial situation, set a realistic budget for each holiday-related category, stick to the plan, and adjust as needed. Number 2, establish financial boundaries. Setting boundaries allows you to participate in the holiday spirit without compromising your financial health. How? Be transparent about your budget limitations. Politely decline invitations or gift exchanges that exceed your budget. Offer alternative ways to celebrate. The holiday season is about relationships and experiences, not just material gifts. How do we do that one? Plan low-cost activities like movie nights or potlucks. Spend quality time with loved ones. Create meaningful traditions that don't require spending money. Opt for thoughtful, low-cost gifts. Gift giving doesn't have to be extravagant to be meaningful. Consider DIY gifts like homemade cookies or crafts. I like the cookies. Write heartfelt letters or create personalized playlists. Shop for deals and discounts. Number 5, use cash instead of credit cards. Using cash can make you more conscious of your spending habits. Withdraw a set amount of cash for holiday spending. Use envelopes to separate cash for different categories. Track your spending to ensure you stay within the budget. Conclusion, bottom line, managing holiday spending and debt is achievable with a bit of planning and discipline. By implementing these tips, you can enjoy a festive and financially secure holiday season. That's the Your Credit Matters segment brought to you by creditsanitizer.com. You have a credit report. It is wrong. What are you doing about it? Continue our conversation. Frank Garcia is with us. Insurance KO is the company name. And what I want to talk about, Frank, is something that hopefully, well, I guess sort of, hopefully we all have a long and healthy life. And maybe if you're so inclined as a golfer, the 19th hole is your final spot. Doesn't work that way for everybody. We don't get to plan it. But, as we get older and older, I hear more and more, and I'm sure you do also being in your line of work, people get sick and obviously pass. But while they're sick, they haven't always planned for how to cover that expense.
Exactly.
Talk about that a little bit.
Yes. Well, what we're talking about, he's referencing is the need for long-term care. That's a huge, huge debt to the nation because most people, 70% of people age 65 or older are going to need some form of long-term care insurance, long-term care to be taken care of in a nursing home, skilled facility, at-home care. And most people want to be able to be cared for in their home.
Sure.
Well, there's products now that are available for you that can do that. And probably the best product now that is available is a life insurance policy with a long-term care rider on it. And the rider is attached to the policy at the time of issue, and you can get 2%, 3%, or 4% of the face amount paid to you on a monthly or annual basis. And you can get that on what they call is not a reimbursement product, but an indemnity benefit. So in other words, let's say that you bought a policy for $300,000 as an example, and let's say that you bought it with 4%. So 3 times 4 is 12. That's $12,000. That's $12,000 of long-term care benefit after 90 days elimination period that would be paid to you up until the time that the $300,000 is spent. Let's say that you only needed that for 2 years.
So if my math is right, that's about 25 years.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right. And let's say that you only needed that for 2 years. Then the balance of the amount would be paid in a death benefit to you, your family, whoever you had as a
your estate or your
heirs. Exactly. This feature is very, very attractive in today's market because people look at it and say, well, I'm not going to lead long-term care. Okay. Well, you're going to be dying someday, correct? Yes, that's true. Well, but what about the money I put into it? What about the cash value I have in the policy? Well, It has 3 stools, 3 legs on the stool, right? Death benefit, long-term care, and has cash value. So you get to the end of the period that you say, I don't need this policy anymore. You cash it in and you get all the money out of it that you've put into it up to the cost basis and no tax on it. So that's pretty nice, I think.
Sounds, and you know, everybody's going to need it. And if you've got that cash value, or I should ask you, if you have the life insurance policy with the long-term care rider,
Yes.
and you've got a 90-day waiting period.
90-day elimination period, yes.
That means
the first 90 days, they're not going to pay
not gonna pay.
long-term care benefit. After you have
But-
a loss of 2 or more activities of daily living, then you're qualifying for the long-term care benefit.
So let me ask this question on that,
Yeah,
Frank.
yeah.
Can you borrow some of your cash value in that first 90 days?
Of course you could.
So if you need to sustain yourself for that period of time.
Right.
Now I'm going to share something that
But most companies, okay, as an example, that's a good question. But how would I look at somebody and talk to them about that issue if they had that? I'd say, look, let's talk to wherever you're planning on going for care, whoever you're planning on providing care for you, and let them know that you have this policy and that you're 90 days from now, they're going to have access to the benefit, right? Most of those people are going to say, yeah, most of the providers are going to say, I understand that. That's very good. We'll take that on assignment when that happens. So, you know, you have ways to cross that bridge to get where you need to go.
So think about this concept, because I think Frank is spot on here. Nobody's going to need it. Nobody needs life insurance. Nobody's going to die. Nobody's going to ever get in a car accident. Nobody's going to ever have any of these issues that come up because we're young. Well, I used to be.
Yeah.
But it happens every single day.
Yes.
Now what I want you to do is look around you. Did your parents die on the spot, or did they have an extended illness? How about your grandparents, aunts, uncles, friends? You know, if you're older, these are all things that happen every day. Yet we look and say, it's not going to happen to me. Well, guess what? I hope you're right. But is hope a financial plan? I don't think so. I think the idea is to say, you know something? Frank's got an idea here, and he's seeing it all the time. It's not like he's coming out with this just out of the blue.
Right. This is not a surprise to people. It's just that people put it away, don't think about it, and they forget
It's
about
hard
it.
to think about it, Frank, because we're
Yeah, that's
we're
right.
thinking about
Well,
being
it's-
sick and dying.
Yeah,
and
but you got to think about it. We are all leaving, or we're living a legacy. While we're living, we need to think about how we're going to be leaving this legacy, because what's your story? You're going to have a story someday. People are going to look back on and say, hey, that guy, that lady, that family did it right. You know, or that guy, that lady, and that family, they did the best they could.
Sure.
But guess what? If you miss the opportunity, right, shame on you, because you do have an opportunity to make a fix of where you're at today.
And these things aren't always available, right? When I was young, they didn't really talk about a long-term care rider. They had a long-term care policy. It was a separate policy all its
Right.
own.
And the reason for that was, let's look back. People used to have the family. The family would come in and take care of it. What do we have now? We have at least 2 income earners in every home.
Sure.
Mom and dad, they work every day just to make ends meet, right? And they also have grandma and grandpa coming in to take care of the kids because they're off working. So now who's going to take care of grandma and grandpa, or mom and dad, when they're trying to take care of your kids? You got to have a plan in place to take care of them, because they took care of you.
And it's not cheap. You know, if you have somebody that needs 24-hour care and they want to stay in the house, you're probably talking somewhere $12,000 to $18,000 per month.
Yes.
Right? So how long do you think your money lasts then? Just throwing that out there. And I'm not trying to be a downer this morning when you're listening, or this evening whenever you're listening to us. I'm trying to give you a reality check. If you're a young couple planning on having kids, you know, something, that golf accident, that body surfing accident, that motorcycle, skiing, whatever it is you like, they happen.
Life happens. Yes.
Life happens.
Life happens. And we need to be prepared, because we do have an opportunity to cover the risk. The risk is what's important. And we have an opportunity to take care of the risk and be on top of our game, because that's what we're fighting for every day, to be the best that we are and be on top of our game. So step out in faith and find the way to be on top of your game. The risk protection is there.
There you go. It's an opportunity. You just need to make the call.
Yes.
And as always, I ask, set that first radio preset button to come back here and join Ron Siegel Radio, where we only speak about items affecting your house and your bank account. Thanks to all of our sponsors. A big thanks to Josh and Sean for engineering us today. And of course, a special thanks to you for spending a little bit of your day with us. That's all for Ron Siegel Radio. Again, if you have any questions or to meet any of our guests, call me anytime, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com, facebook.com, or, just give us a call. We're going to be here every day. And remember, make a lot of money so you can help a lot of people and have a lot of fun. Have a great day. We'll talk to you next time on Ron Siegel Radio.